probably works better for like people who are on the web, like like flower shops and stuff like that. That would work really well, I would think.
And secondly, on the thing about the competitive data, like Pt4 or podcast and Alexa, I think Alexa is completely unreliable.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I don't use this stuff.
It's the free. I wouldn't use it. The thing about compete data, though, I think just to clarify, I agree that it's not always accurate, but if you're tracing you versus the peers, the competitors, it should be consistently inaccurate, so you can at least see vis-a-vis your competitors, where are you, trends, wise, relative scale, et cetera.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
Anytime you're going off of data that you know is wrong and hope it's consistent, you've got a couple variables in there that are kind of make my skin kind of crawl. I don't want to have, I know that there's an error here and I know there's an error here, so let's assume they're the same error if I can avoid it. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of products out there that give you a whole lot of information. But one of the great features about Google Analytics I don't think we've discussed is sharing your data. If you've got someone, like you're like, hey, Myles, Kristi, come look at my data. You can add people to your Google Analytics account as a read-only or as an administrator to go in and change things, and we can see your data, or you can have the data. We can go in and log in, or you can have the data scheduled to run maybe on a weekly or monthly basis and send it out automated, so you don't have to touch it.
What would you say the cons to using Google Analytics?
Cons for using Google Analytics. So it's a black box. It's a black hole. So if your data goes somewhere and it goes to Google and does its thing, and then it comes out. So you don't know. If they changed any of the formulas, for example, they changed average time on site. We saw the data go from like a minute on one of our sites to like 5 minutes in just one day. So you don't really get that visibility and documentation into what's going on. So I think that's a downside. Also, I think clients sometimes are really, especially clients who play in Google space, are very reluctant to have Google have their data. I think that's a downside as well. And what else do we got? The sharing thing has been a little bit interesting too, because so there are a lot of companies that have content management systems will set up their, all their clients under one account. And then what happens is, if you want to go in and make changes to your account, we can't set you up as an admin because you'll have access to every other account on there. And so if you go working with another company, make sure they give you your own account instead of like a sub-account of theirs, because that data will just be gone once you have to change it.
One of the cons that I come across is working with the different providers. In Omniture, I can get very detailed reporting as to what my most popular paths are. So, how are people interacting? How are they walking through your site? And are they taking that path that you want them to take? Google Analytics, you kind of have to dig for that a little bit, and it's not as straightforward as you would get in some of the other from some of the other providers.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why we like ClickTail so much, because you can see where people are coming from. If they're coming from Google, you can visually see how they're performing on a small scale. And I think it provides probably the same amount of data as Omniture, but on a just a 1 or 2 or 3 basis, so you can get an idea of where they're coming from. Obviously, Omniture's pathing is great. The base pathing, I don't think it's been updated in a while, so it's not that pretty. But if you opt for their Discover tool, which is another add-on, that's in my opinion, the problem with Omniture is that anytime you're like, oh wow, I'm going to do that. That'd be really cool if I can see how my visitors, like we have this great waterfall-looking tool where visitors kind of go in buckets. It's very beautiful and it's eye candy, but it's going to cost me another $40,000. So for a lot of our clients who don't want to pay that money, you're kind of stuck using Google Analytics and a combination of ClickTail or some other product. Yes, sir.
Have you found any good tools for looking at visitor behavior across multiple visits? So someone who's clicked your banner ad, come back via search, come back with it.
Yeah, one of the things that I used in another agency is Dart. They do spotlight tags or floodlight tags, and so we would run reports through Dart that would say it was a latency conversion. So how many people actually saw the banner, never clicked on it, and I guess what it does, it takes your cookie in that visit where you first saw the banner, and then over 90 days, did that impression ever do anything to you? What did that convert at some point? So Dart spotlight or floodlight tags, I think, are the way to do that across multiple, unless you've got some kind of banner or site network where you got multiple different sites. In Google Analytics, you can actually do that. If you've got multiple sites, you can change that tracking code to set the domain name to be the same thing. And so it'll roll up to that same account. You can see the different domains, or if that's something you're looking to do. In the back, way back, there's 2 people.
Yeah, so on what you were just talking about, So like if you own several different sites and you would like to see them competing with each other, see the line graphs overlaid, is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
currently with
it's a-
analytics? With
Yeah,
Google
Google Analytics, yeah. So what's nice about, another thing that's nice about Google Analytics is they got a big developer community. And so, honestly, anything that I think that you're doing, someone's tried to do before. So they've got the, I forget what they call it, multi-domain tracking. They've got some tweaks to the code where you can actually have it write to one profile and then write it to kind of a global profile as well. So you can see how that one site's doing and then how your whole network of sites is doing. Do you have a question, dude? Back there?
It's the same one.
Same question. Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, sorry.
I'm wondering if
You're next.
trying to drive traffic to your site using like URL shorteners, if that in any way skews the number?
It does not. And what's great about it is that you can use the URL shorteners. If you want to track, for example, say you did a post on, like David Sachs back there in the way back, he's a big Twitter guy. If he wants to track what traffic's coming from his Twitter post, the good thing about Google Analytics and some of the others is that all you've got to do is add on a suffix to the URL, and you'll just have to Google the Google Analytics URL tool, and it'll let you build your campaign. So if he wants to tag David Sachs' Twitter as a source and all that, he just puts a little suffix on the URL that he redirects to. So now he's got a campaign that he can officially track. So I think it works fairly well with that. Yes, sir?
Let me make a little contribution. So the URL shorteners
Yes.
are really useful for tracking people who see your PDF. So a lot of times PDFs have just been invisible for traffic, but now you can monitor that. The question I had was, you said like Bob can see who's visiting his site. He's really seeing traffic. If he's seeing traffic from Facebook, he isn't seeing who's visiting. So
Right. You don't.
If you can send that as a referral.
Usually you can click into that as a source, and it'll show you what page it came from. Some sites are better than others. You may not be able to even see that if you're not friends of whatever, but maybe it's a fan page that's public. You may be able to click through to that. One thing about that PDF, what you can do is two things about that. One, you can assign it as a goal in your Google Analytics or Omniture or whatever, and see how many people are downloading it. You can also adjust the click. There's an on-click tag you can do. It's a little bit more complicated than just the general setting it up, but if that's your goal, you can set those on-click tags to be labeled as a download, so you would see them in the content report.
And we use those a lot for some of our clients that have more PDF-heavy sites that are just trying to get collateral out to either their salespeople or customers, and we use those on-click tags a lot, and it can track. Now you have visibility into, is anybody downloading any of this information?
Yeah, why would you go through making all those PDFs if no one's downloading them? So this will allow you, the on-click tags will allow you to see how many people are actually clicking them. And you can set up your goals not to just look at a specific PDF. If you have all your goals on those on-click tags set up as download, you can just set in your goals to do what's called a regular expression to look for anything that says download. And so you can get an overall number. If you've got 1,000 PDFs, you don't want to have to tag each one in your goals. You can just say, check the downloads and let me know if that was a goal conversion. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an easy way to track someone starting to like an RSS feed in either Google Analytics or Omniture?
Yeah. FeedBurner is the name of it. Does that sound right? FeedBurner will let you see it. I think Google bought them, so I've been waiting for Google over the last, I think they bought them a year ago, to implement that into the system, into Google Analytics, but they haven't done it. They kind of play in separate fields. But the data you get from FeedBurner is very good. So you can see how many people are following you, and I think you can even get some times and stuff like that as well. I checked that out. I think it's free too. Yes, sir.
When you're dealing with a larger site in an Omniture implementation of analytics, do you guys have any recommendations on, I'm using a third-party vendor that actually does the hosting.
Okay.
They handle the creatives and everything, but trying to get all of the Omniture script on all of these pages, getting the unique variables set up and that kind of thing, I'm finding it's unbelievably difficult for me to manage from my side because I'm not a JavaScript programmer or anything. Is there a method to, like if I've got 15 new pages of content I'm going to load up, I need to have unique identifiers and stuff. Is there a smooth, easy method to handle that?
No, that's why we get paid the big bucks, really. Typically what we like to do